Have you ever pondered over the true essence of obeying the messenger in Islam? This question has sparked many debates and interpretations. Traditionalists tend to interpret the Quranic instruction to obey God and the messenger, as mentioned in Surah An-Nisa 459, as a directive pointing towards Islamic secondary sources. They also reference Surah Al-Hashr 59:7, where it states, "And whatsoever the messenger gives you, take it, and whatsoever he forbids you, abstain from it," to underline the importance of following the messenger's teachings. However, this video presents an intriguing counter-argument. It proposes that obedience to the messenger is specific, time-bound, and strictly associated with the Quran itself, not the personal words or of the messenger. Intriguing, isn't it? Let's delve deeper into these arguments and uncover what they reveal. Firstly, the video presents the Quran as the only authority of Islam and the sole divine source of law, as explicitly stated in the verse, "And whosoever does not judge by what follow it, and fear Allah that you may receive mercy." 6:155. These verses raise the question of the role of supplementary Islamic sources. If we consider the Quran, as these verses suggest, as the exclusive authority, it implies that anything outside of it cannot be recognized as Islam. This doesn't necessarily imply that other sources are invalid or unimportant, but rather, they don't hold the same divine authority as the Quran as emphasized authority. Positioning the Quran as the exclusive divine source of law, it's like a compass guiding the journey of faith, the primary reference point from which all other points are measured, a perspective that underscores the primacy of the Quran as a beacon of divine wisdom and guidance, as highlighted in "This is the book about which there is no doubt, AA for those conscious of Allah." 2:2. This in turn has significant implications for the interpretation of the instruction to obey the messenger. If the Quran is the sole divine source of law, then the obedience to the messenger becomes contextualized within the teachings of the Quran. This challenges our understanding of what it means to obey the messenger, as per obey Allah and obey the messenger, and secondly, the instruction to obey the messenger found in Surah An-Nisa 459 is seen as specific and time-bound. This perspective reshapes our understanding of the Quranic directive. It wasn't a blanket statement made in Surah Al-Hashr 59:7, but rather a pointed instruction for the people living during the time the Prophet Muhammad. It alludes to obeying the living messenger, the Prophet Muhammad, during his lifespan. As a divinely inspired reformer, as mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah 2:129, the leader of Medina, and a military commander during wartime emergencies as in Surah At-Tawbah 9:122, the Prophet held multiple roles. Each role was crucial in its historical setting, and the directive to obey him was directly associated with these roles. Thus, the command to obey was not an everlasting directive, but one that was applicable to the context of the prophets as indicated in Surah Al-Imran 3:31. Sometimes we are prone to view religious texts through the lens of infinity, forgetting that they were revealed in a specific historical context, as emphasized in Surah Al-Baqarah 2:185. However, grasping this time-bound nature of the directive allows us to see the Quranic instruction in a novel light. It underlines the significance of context in interpreting religious texts and offers a renewed perspective on the traditionalist understanding of obeying the messenger. Finally, the messenger is equated with the message, as perfectly encapsulated in Surah An-Nisa, verse 80. "He who obeys the messenger obeys Allah." A messenger is always someone who delivers someone else's message. In the context of the Quran, this is further affirmed in Surah An-Nahl, verse 36. "We certainly sent into every nation a messenger to worship Allah and avoid false deities." Thus we understand that the messenger was not an autonomous authority. He did not possess the power to issue, amend, or cancel any religious laws on his own. He was not a co-author with God in divine legislation or judgment. Instead, his role was that of a conduit, a vessel for the divine message. The only message delivered by the messenger was the Quran, a profound testament to his role as a messenger, not a legislator. This understanding of the messenger's role brings us to a crucial realization, one that Surah Al-Hashr, verse 7, emphasizes. "Whatever the messenger gives you, take, and whatever he forbids you, refrain from." When we speak of obeying the messenger, what we really mean is obeying the message he conveyed to the world. This message, the Quran, is the embodiment of the messenger's mission. It is the essence of his teachings, wisdom, and his guidance. It is the divine message that he was chosen to deliver to humanity. Therefore, in the aftermath of the prophet's life, obeying the messenger equates to following the teachings of the Quran. The Quran, as the messenger's message, continues to guide us, to inspire us, and to serve as a beacon of divine wisdom. This redefines our understanding of the role of the messenger and the nature of his message. In conclusion, the video presents a compelling argument that challenges traditionalist views, substantiated by several Quranic references. It emphatically underlines that the Quran, as mentioned in 619, is the sole authority of Islam, the only divine source of law. Anything outside of it, according to 6:114, cannot be considered Islam. The instruction to obey the messenger it suggests is specific and time-bound, referring to the living messenger's role during his lifetime, as stated in 4:84, 64, and not beyond. Furthermore, it argues with reference to 10:15 that the messenger in his role was not authorized to amend or issue religious laws, but was merely a conduit for the divine message, the Quran. The video also addresses the misconception of blindly following the personal opinions and ideas of the messenger, as cautioned against in 33:36. The Quran, it emphasizes, deals with Muhammad the messenger, not Muhammad the person, indicated in 3:144. The messenger's role is equated with the message he delivered, as posited in 5:99. Thus, obeying the messenger after his death means adhering to the messages conveyed in the Quran, as signified by 3:32. The video invites us to reconsider, with support from 7:3, what it means to obey the messenger in Islam, suggesting that it is about obeying the message delivered, which is the Quran, and not the alleged personal words or deeds of the messenger.